Alright everyone, how's it going? Sorry here with another figure review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Legacy of Revoltech Gurren Lagann figure. Um, I'm trying a new camera setup, so let me know if this looks a little better. Phone's it's got a weird attachment. Look, I bought this thing and it's got like a light attached to it. I think it's pretty hilarious. But anyway, before we get to the review, of the figure, I just want to show you the box real quick. So I don't know if it's standard to all the Legacy of Revoltech figures, but the Gurren Lagann one comes in a nice red packaging. I actually really like this a lot. I think they're themed to the characters, so as it would imply, these are re-releases of some of Revoltech's most famous figures that they came out with, and of course Gurren Lagann's on that list because, you know, why wouldn't it be? So therefore it's classified as LR-52. Pretty standard packaging. Some promo shots in the back, and yeah, nice window packaging. I missed out on this figure the first time it came around because I hadn't seen the show back then, but afterwards it was actually it was for like what, $50 I think, which I think is what this retails for currently, if it still exists. Anyway, you open it up and it comes with a number of accessories. Oh, and also this in the back, which I don't know if it was easy to tell, but like has the logo of the show in the back, which you can take that out. It's I don't know if it's intended to be a package, like a background shot or whatever, but it's really nice. I really like it. Just nice, simple, clean logo. Anyway, he comes with all of the accessories that the original release had, and the figure itself is pretty much the same with some minor tweaks. So he comes with the core drill, which is gold in this version, and you can remove it and attach that to the figure, but you can also just hook this on a necklace if you want to do that. It's gold to look like the like the core drill, but I don't know. I wish they gave us like a separate silver one to actually use with the figure. He comes with this little striking like a kind of display thing. You're supposed to put the foot on it so that it looks like the robot's like dashing on the ground. Pretty neat effect. It's got like some translucency towards the end of it. Mostly of a brown color though, so yeah. And yeah, so like I mentioned, unfortunately I don't have the original version to compare it to, but if you were interested in this figure before, it's relatively the same, because I do have something from that line I'll show you later. He comes with an alternative head as well. If I could zoom that in real quick, or focus on it. Comes with an angry face. It's actually painted really, really well for how tiny this head is. Comes with an alternative chest piece that does not have the glasses attached. Comes with 3 sets of hands. 2 of them, if I can get it out here, I'll just use this. Aha. If it'll help. 2 of them are, they look like trigger fingers, but they're not. They're meant for holding the boomerang, the sunglasses boomerang. And the quality on these are pretty good as well. Nice little paint details on there. You can see the little individual notches on the fingertips. I think it's sculpted really well, and I think it's painted really well. It's really hard plastic too. It doesn't feel cheap. Doesn't feel pliable either. It comes with 2 fisted hands, and I have one of the fists attached to the figure, so that's why I'm only showing you this one, but it's the same paint quality as before. And it comes with some gesturing hands. One of them is open hand. On the right hand, he comes with a pointing finger, so you can be like, oh, pierce the heavens, or do your JoJo crossover with the pointing finger. And the other hand is The other hand is just palms wide open. I think it's meant to be like supporting the drill if you're having posed with the drill, but it came out really nice. I just have that because I think it's the most neutral hand that you could give him. Anyway, that's it for the accessories. Well, he comes with an additional accessory, which is the Gurren wing. So the original release of this figure actually only came out with obviously the original Gurren Lagann, and this was actually part of like some sort of build-a-figure with very expensive figures. So the other figures in this line were the Lagann, which is the with the Spiral King's gunman, and also Viro's gunman, the Dorarara, not that's what it's called, Enkido. So each of the figures came with a separate piece. I think one of them came with the centerpiece, and the other two came with the wing pieces. But they re-released it to include this, including this little wave dash thing, and to have the whole set. That way you just had to buy Gurren Lagann, and that's what this re-release is, basically. It's got a bit of articulation on it. Standard Revoltech joints, you know, with the little clickies on it. I think it's painted really well. I wish that part had some paint apps on it, because in the show, that's what makes Gurren Lagann fly. This little circle right there, and it glows blue. And I wish that it glowed. I wish that they had painted it in blue at least. But yeah, other than that though, there doesn't seem to be errors in like paint or whatever. It's clean lines, all of it. The only gripe I have though is that it tabs onto the figure using, you see how these two at the top have like little notches on them? That's what the back of the figure is supposed to tab into, and I'll show you in a second, but it doesn't tab in very well. That's my only gripe with this accessory piece, honestly. Oh, and last but not least, he comes with a figure stand. I'm not sure if the original version came with this figure stand in particular, but I do know that Revoltech started using these, so it might have been different. But anyway, onto the figure itself. Here he is, Gurren Lagann. I had him posed a little bit. So here's the original face that he comes with. Originally the alternative head was the more angry face. That one's kind of angry but more neutral, but this is what the alternative head that he comes with is, kind of teeth gritted, and you can see like how tiny this figure is, the amount of detail that you can see. Also the glasses are like semi-translucent, and I really like that a lot. And you know, even it comes with the separate chest piece, you can actually remove it like that. And someone mentioned that you can actually, if you don't tab it in properly enough, you can actually get some nice gestures in there with the eyes, which is really neat. That's what this series is about, exaggerated expressions, but you can just tab it in right there. I like keeping the glasses on. Oh god, I didn't even show off the sunglass boomerang. So the reason why you would have that separate is because the sunglasses turn into a boomerang. And that's it. It's just one hard piece of plastic. Tabs into the hands really well. The hands hold it really well. You just tab the hand in like that. There you go. That's all. Jesus. Anyway, back to the figure. The only difference that I can tell from the original release would be the joints itself is made out of a different material. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of made of this more, I wouldn't say necessarily stronger, but maybe more, because the entire rest of this figure is like made out of the same type of plastic that they would use, you know. But this, it's kind of got a matte finish to it. It's a little bit softer, a bit rounder. Clicky, as always. One issue that I do have is that there is a bit of paint imperfection on one of these, but I can't even tell. Oh, it's on the other side. It's on the other side of that. Sorry if you can hear me tapping the phone every time I get the focus on it. Sorry, it's just there's lots of close up in a figure view. But Anyway, as far as paint details go, there's not really a lot that you have to be mindful of. A lot of these are like separate pieces. Maybe on the teeth, right here, like that. The main thing that you would have to worry about is this, and it's the Gurren Lagann logo, and it came out really well. Especially once again, it's like the size of my, it's like smaller than my thumb. Came out really well on both sides, I would say. And a lot of people knock on the Revoltech version because, I don't know, maybe it's inaccurate, but I don't know, to me it looks the same as it does in the show. And as far as an affordable, small Gurren Lagann figure you're going to have, you don't really have a lot of choices, and this version's probably the best one that you can have. The only issue that I have is the articulation, because it's Revoltech's kind of known for their articulation and how you're meant to use it in exaggerated poses because it's not meant to be like symmetrical. And on that note, I wanted to show before I get into the articulation, actually, I wanted to show where the backpack tabs in, or the jetpack tabs in. See these little two holes right there? That's supposed to tab into that. The problem is you get it on one side fairly easy, but you can't get it on both. And it looks like it fits fine, but I couldn't even let go of the figure because it already fell. But like, see, it doesn't tab in properly. But it'll hold if you don't touch it. It's kind of unfortunate that I thought that it would tab in better. Maybe that's just my figure in particular, because I did notice that this is like kind of like not brushed off, but like kind of like sanded off. I don't know, it just looks weird to me. But anyway, onto the articulation. Revoltech's on most of the joints here, by the way. Pretty much all the joints. But there's a Revoltech joint on the top of the head. So it goes forward and back. Clicks all the time. And you can turn it side to side. And of course you can turn the Revoltech joint whichever way you want. So you can get a side to side motion or forward to back. It's actually got two hinges on the neck. The bottom part's less mobile. It's got a Revoltech joint and diaphragm on the teeth, on the mouth rather. Revoltech joint on the shoulders. You can go up that much and down that much, and you can spin around. Same thing for the elbows, and same thing for the wrists. Going over articulation on a Revoltech figure is kind of redundant, because all of them work the same way. You can also swivel here, by the way, but that's just due to the Revoltech joint. So there's like one up there, and I thought there was a second one down here, but apparently not. These little side skirts are also on a Revoltech type joint. Yeah, it's on the same Revoltech joint, so you can actually go forward and back with it. You can spin it around, whatever you want. I think the only thing that is not... oh, never mind, it is. I never took that off, so apparently, yes, this little skirt piece at the front is also on a Revoltech joint. There you go, just tabs in like that. You don't really want to move that around, though. Legs also go forward and back, side to side. Once again, Revoltech joint. Same thing for the knees. Falls apart really easy. That's the other thing with the Revoltech joint. But goes back, goes back just as easily, which is a good thing about a Revoltech joint. Feet can go forward and back, and side to side with ankle pivot. Once again, due to the Revoltech joint. It's a pretty well articulated figure, all things considering, and it is meant for crazy poses. And you know what? If you're gonna get one Revoltech figure, if there's one Revoltech figure you're gonna excuse, I would probably say it's this one, just because the show is kind of known for it. Oh, he's also got this tab right here for his butt, and he's got tabs for his feet as well, so you can stick the thing right there. But yeah, anyway, if you're gonna excuse one Revoltech figure for looking ridiculous or whatever, I would say I would give the pass to this one. And I don't just say that just as a huge fan of Gurren Lagann, but also because I know the show. It's strange. That is its nature. But anyway, just to compare it to, I don't have the original version of this figure, But what I do have is a version of this figure that came out around the time that the original figure did come out, and that is the Gurren Lagann full drillized version, which is essentially the same version as this one, except pointier. So here he is, packaged in the box, and if I take this out, it comes with relatively the same accessories. The only difference is the core drill is the proper silver that we wanted. The figure itself is mostly the same once again, except that on all the parts where he would have a drill, there is a drill. So it's harder to pose this figure actually as a result because of how freaking pointy he is. But it's essentially the same figure. Again, the only difference is the Revoltech joints are made out of a different material, whereas in the new one it's kind of made of whereas in this old one it's kind of made out of the same material as the rest of the figure. It's kind of this shiny looking plastic. That one, the new one, is less so. But articulation is relatively the same as well. If you have both of these figures, you can actually even interchange them. That way you can have like an arm that's just only the arm is drilled or whatever, you know, mix and match it. But that's it. Again, just as a fan of the show, I would say buy it. It's still available. You don't really get a lot of like merchandise from the show at all, so kind of take as much as you can get, honestly. If it's not a poster or whatever, there are very few figures that exist and are relatively available, because of how old the show is and because of how maybe like niche it is. There's not really a giant fan base clamoring for Gurren Lagann as there's for something like Attack on Titan or even Evangelion, or even I don't know what's popular these days. I don't really watch anime as much as I used to. But anyway, that's it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.